You're watching CCN, Clarksville Community Network, produced by Goodwin Productions. Powered by CDE Lightband.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Clarksville's Political Forum. I'm Van Stokes, your moderator for today's session. And on behalf of Leadership Clarksville and your Clarksville area Chamber of Commerce, we are glad you could be with us today. Once again, we are coming to you from the Customs House Museum and Culture Center here in Clarksville. As always, this forum is designed to give you, the voters, an informed choice when you go to the polls to vote in the federal, state, and city of Clarksville general election on Tuesday, November the 5th. In this session today, we will have the opportunity to meet and talk with the candidates who will be on the ballot for the Clarksville City Council, representing Ward number 12. To my left, they are Mr. Dave Bilan, Ms. Zoyie Jackson, and Ms. Keri Lovato. We will begin this session with each candidate having 2 minutes in which to present opening comments. Following this segment, we will then turn to our panelists for questions. Joining us as panelists today are Mr. J. Albertia, Ms. Susan Zidek, and Mr. O'Neill Wiggins. Now, each candidate will be given 1 minute to respond to each question, with the first response coming in a rotating order, each question coming from our panelists. And at the conclusion of the questioning, then each candidate will have 2 minutes in which to present closing statements. Closing statements will come in the reverse order of the opening statements. Our timekeeper for this session, Mr. Phil Harpel. The City Council in Clarksville, Tennessee is comprised of 12 council members, each representing a different ward of the city. Members are elected to a 4-year term, and once again, our candidates today running to represent Ward number 12 of the Clarksville City Council. Now, the City Council votes on city ordinances and resolutions governing the city of Clarksville. It also approves the budget for the city and sets the city property tax rate. Council members approve changes to city policy as specified in the city code. The council is also responsible for adopting potentially far-reaching policies and ensuring that those policies are, in fact, followed. Each council member is appointed to serve on one or more committees that may include the Community and Economic Development Committee, Finance Committee, Gas and Water Committee, Parks and Recreation, Public Safety, Streets and Garage Committee, or the Transportation Committee. Without any further ado, let's go to our candidates now for opening comments. We will hear first from Mr. Dave Bilan.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. I'm Dave Bilan, and I have been a resident of this area for 33 years. I moved into Ward 12 in 2004. I have spent my life in the better part of my life right here in this town, and it is now my hometown. I like being here. I've lived in a number of different sized communities, all the way up in Alaska, Michigan, Alabama, and there have been some great places, but I think that Clarksville is about the best. But it can be better. To tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a second-generation American. My family worked in the coal mines. They worked in auto plants. I have spent time as a production line assembly person and truck driver, spent time in the military, and 33 years as a civil servant doing public management. Among my jobs, I worked providing coverage for three presidential visits. I've covered the events such as command town halls, political involvement, visits to the installation, and then my last couple of years we were involved in anti-terrorism, emergency management, operational security, and so I have a lot of broad experience in projects that can't fail and very short suspense. I feel that I've got a great amount of ability to give to the city, and want everyone to know that I want to look at our infrastructure, providing a recreational area for Ward 12, and doing some tax reform. And I'll get into that as we get into it in a little bit. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear opening comments from Ms. Zoyie Jackson.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me here today. I am Zoyie Jackson, and I'm running for City Council to represent Ward 12. I am a retired 21-year combat veteran and a Purple Heart recipient, a proud mother of 2 adult sons and 5 grandchildren. Yes, 5. I am the owner and operator of Equitable Solutions First, LLC. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration. I know how important it is to build a strong, supportive community for future generations. My years of service have taught me the value of integrity, leadership, and the importance of standing for what is right. I am heavily involved in the community. As a community advocate, I am tired of the things that are happening and no resolve. I am not afraid to use my voice to speak up for those that are not heard. Community is very important to me. Since retiring, I've served in multiple leadership roles, such as I am the current commander of the Women Veterans of America, Chapter 47. I am the current president of the Democratic Black Caucus. I am the previous executive chair for the NAACP for the Community Relations and the Women's Chair. I am the previous board member of the Red Cross. I am a part of the Montgomery County Veteran Coalition, and I am a graduate of the Leadership Clarksville, class of 2024. I'm running for City Council because I believe that our community deserves a representative that is inclusive, transparent, and accountable.
Thank you very much. And we will hear opening comments now from Ms. Keri Lovato.
Thank you. My name is Keri Lovato. I am the City Council representative for Ward 12, and I just want to thank you all for this opportunity. I want to thank the other candidates for being here today. And for those of you who don't know me, I have lived in Clarksville since 2012 in the same home, and I am so proud to raise my 4 children here. In 2013, I became a licensed insurance agent, and I have worked in that industry ever since. I am running to continue to serve my community because I believe that I bring a fresh perspective to the local government. As I have spoken with many of our residents in Ward 12, they feel disconnected from the local government, and I plan on working to restore that trust and collaboration. Over the past several years, I have worked on building relationships with local business owners and nonprofits to better understand the needs of our community. And as a city council person, I've been able to see those from a different perspective and build even more relationships to not just help Ward 12, but all of Clarksville. I am highly accessible, so whether you want to call, text, email, meet in person, or find me on social media, I just look forward to getting to know more of you so that on November 5th, I have earned your vote for Clarksville City Council Ward 12. Thank you.
And thank you to each of our candidates for your opening comments. We go now to our panelists for a series of questions. We will begin with Mr. J. Albertia. Your question will go for the first response from Mr. Dave Bilan.
Mr. Bilan, there are a lot of issues that we're going to talk about today, but what do you think are the 2 most important for your ward, and why are they the most important to you?
Anybody who lives in Ward 12 faces constant traffic jams, and they really don't have much of a choice. And I think that we need to look at how we are planning our city and working our infrastructure versus our development. The city council or city county comprehensive plan talks about future improvements to roads, widening. That involves both the state and for federal funds. But we're not waiting for those improvements before we're building. I think we're getting it backwards. Also, we need to look at our tax situation and do it in a little bit of a a more common sense and transparent way, because right now it's not.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson.
Just as my colleague stated, I think our biggest issue is the traffic. Traffic is our biggest issue. Living in Ward 12, especially off of Wilma Rudolph and by Chick-fil-A, that is a traffic jam all day long, every day, no matter what time of day. You are destined to die right there before you get anywhere. So I think looking into what is a solution for everyone is a big issue. How can we resolve that? What are some ways that we could address that is minimal to the infrastructure and that is cost effective to everyone, utilizing our tax dollars wisely to be able to address that issue?
Thank you. Ms. Lovato.
Thank you. So 2 things. One is our public safety. We need to make sure that our police and our fire department and building and codes, that they have the resources to serve Ward 12 and all of Clarksville. Everyone is hyper aware of our infrastructure needs, but we also need to look at where can we put sidewalks in our area. So again, 2 big issues for Ward 12, public safety and infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Ms. Susan Zidek, you have the next question, and it will go to Ms. Zoyie Jackson.
Ms. Jackson, if elected, what role would you like to play with respect to economic development in our area?
The role that I would like to play in respect to the economic involvement is to have a better understanding and to have a voice for the community, to allow them to be able to voice their opinion on what concerns them. Not necessarily given the impact of what is needed, but what concerns them, what value on the economic is the given, or what would they like to see concerning the growth of economics within our community, within our environment.
Ms. Lovato.
Thank you. So in 2023, right after I was appointed to City Council, I was also appointed to the Economic Development Council Board. And so it is a relationship between the city, county, and the EDC to recruit those businesses, those higher paying jobs, so that our city residents don't always have to commute to Nashville or further to get those good paying jobs. So again, how can we further that communication with the EDC and the county? Thank you.
Mr. Bilan.
One of the things that we need to look at is we are right next to an industrial and technological area to develop, and the people who live in Ward 12 have no public transportation. If they want to go to into those areas, they have to take a bus from Trenton Road all the way down into downtown and then back up Wilma Rudolph, even though exit 1 to exit 4 is pretty much a straight line. I think that if we're going to be developing our area economically, that we need to provide a way to transport our people in a green and sustainable, and a way to reduce the amount of traffic jams.
Thank you. Mr. O'Neill Wiggins, you have the next question, and it will go to Ms. Keri Lovato for the response.
Ms. Lovato, thank you all for being here and to answer questions for our voters. Also, thank you for your willingness to serve Clarksville community. So my question is, we all know that revenue is tight right now when it comes to the needs of the city and other operational areas. What would you specifically do to generate revenue for Clarksville?
It is absolutely important for the city to look at different avenues to get that revenue. And so we want to keep those property taxes low. I think the biggest benefit to our city would be that recruitment of of more local businesses, but also those bigger businesses that bring in those higher paying jobs.
Mr. Bilan?
Well, talking about keeping property taxes low, the City Council just voted to raise our property taxes by 17.5%. I agree. We need to keep the property taxes low. I don't think that raising them over 17% is the way to do it. We need to look at how we are doing our taxes and generate revenue in various sorry, I've had a stroke, and occasionally I find it hard to find the word. We need to find a revenue system that brings in a part of that we share the wealth with the people who are creating the new goods and services, and it needs to be involved with small amounts, because we're not looking to hurt the people who are providing the jobs to the people in the public. Thank you.
Ms. Jackson.
To be honest with you, I'm unsure. I'm unsure on exactly how we would collectively, or how I would be able to partner with or provide input on how to help in that area without actually being there, getting understanding, educating myself on the situation better, so that I can ensure that I educate the community on the best way to handle it, or the best solution at that time. So to be honest with you, I'm unsure on how to address that answer or how to address that issue right now.
Thank you very much. Mr. Albertia has the next question. It will go to Mr. Bilan.
Mr. Bilan, we've talked about revenue a little bit, but I'm going to talk about spending a little bit, because that's what everybody loves doing. Which department do you think may not be adequately funded enough in the city, and which one would you give some additional funding to?
Infrastructure, obviously, is something that we all look at. I talked about, Ms. Lovato talked about the sidewalks, need for sidewalks for safety, even though she voted down a sidewalk ordinance not too long ago. I think one of the other areas that we need to look at least for Ward 12, we are the fastest growing area in Montgomery County, and you can look it up in the comprehensive plan. And we have the most residential housing being built, and yet we do not have a public recreation area. There are no public playgrounds. And I think that if we are going to be the recipient of tons of growth, that we need to provide something for the young people to hang out in a recreational fashion. So.
Ms. Jackson?
I think we would first address that spending on transportation. Really addressing the transportation issue and how we spend the money, providing adequate transportation for everyone. And then my second way of spending that money would be on resources for our youth.
Thank you very much. And Ms. Keri Lovato.
The number one department that needs more funding right now that we really need to focus on is our public safety sector. Our police department, our firemen, they need to be paid adequately. And so we really need to dump a lot more money into those departments to make sure that they have all of the resources that they need so that they can continue to serve our community and keep us safe.
Thank you very much. Ms. Zidek, you have the next question, and it will go to Ms. Jackson.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson, our society seems more divided than ever, and some political leaders engage in divisive behavior and personal attacks on political opponents. What is your approach to communicating with and about political opponents or your colleagues, potential colleagues on City Council?
What is my approach in communicating? My approach would be understanding both sides and respecting each side's views, each person's views, because I think we lack empathy in understanding where we come from. I think we lack the empathy of understanding our background. I think we lack the empathy of understanding our perspective on where we're going. So just to hear each person's views on what they believe and why they believe it, and how we can come up or meet in the middle to find a solution or a common ground to fix a problem or address an issue.
Ms. Lovato?
Thank you. So you will not catch me talking harshly about a fellow city council person or one of the other candidates. I believe that if you have nothing nice to say, you shouldn't say it at all. When it comes to the approach, my approach very much is we are better as a team, and that is how I work. So there have absolutely been situations that have come up that I disagree with, or a tactic that I disagree with, but you have to be willing to look at it from all perspectives, like Ms. Jackson said, and like I said, better as a team. Thank you.
And Mr. Bilan?
Collaborative work is the only way that we are going to accomplish anything. And while I'm quick to point out issue-oriented disagreements, I have the utmost respect for my fellow candidates, and I would continue to show that same respect for the city council and the mayor's office. I think that everybody that is on the council wants to give the best to the city, and they deserve no less than for me to give them the respect that involves. And also, when we work together as a council, I don't want to focus on what's best for Ward 12 with the exception of whatever anybody else wants. We've got to work together. If we don't do that, then we're not making the city better. We're just looking to make our own little neighborhood better.
Thank you very much. Mr. Wiggins, you have the next question, and it goes to Ms. Lovato.
Ms. Lovato again. So, as I was sitting here, all three of you came in with a very impressive introduction or bio. But what qualifies you for this office at the city council, and why should people vote for you?
Yes. So, again, I've been serving on the city council since May of 2023. I was appointed when my predecessor had to resign her spot. And I've gained a lot of knowledge since then, being able to talk to different department heads, and I have a better understanding of what those individual needs are. I also have a long background of helping people through troubled times and their crises. So, and again, I am highly accessible. And so I believe that as people realize that I am a trusted source, they will be more willing to have those hard conversations so that I can help them find solutions.
Mr. Bilan.
One of the things about my past experience is being a manager, public manager, and covering the many projects that have gone through that have involved supporting a population of more than 24,000 people, both active duty military and family members, and they both have different priorities and needs, and yet to do a job well, you've got to be able to balance that. I think that that has given me the experience to be able to carry over to the city council, the experience that I've had working in emergency management, anti-terrorism, operational security. All that sounds like a lot of military stuff, but it has applications here and now today. This isn't my, this will not be my second job, so accessibility is not going to be an issue because this is what I'll be doing when I'm not volunteering for the community in the various roles that I've got.
Ms. Jackson.
What makes me qualified for this position is a combination of my experience in leadership, my connection to the community, and my commitment to service. As a retired combat veteran and a Purple Heart recipient, I've learned the importance of integrity, discipline, and standing up for what's right regardless of the outcome. I believe that the quality is crucial in representing Ward 12. In every role that I've taken on, whether it's my military career or the county government or in my community, I've focused on getting results, whether that's improving service, advocating for those that are in need, or building a stronger network. In addition to my military background, I also own a business. I believe that I have the qualifications that allow me to navigate complex challenges, manage resources effectively, and make decisions that will benefit my community.
Thank you very much. Mr. J. Albertia, your question will go to Mr. Dave Bilan.
Back to finance.
Indeed.
Just recently, the city council passed some new building permit fees that some say are higher than most communities our size, even higher than that of Knoxville. Do you think that's going to slow our growth in Clarksville, or what effect is that these new fees going to happen, or does it just trickle down to those that are buying the houses?
Well, ultimately, whatever fees are charged will trickle down to the people that are buying the houses. I think that the individuals that already own the property, that are looking to develop the property, they're going to do what they've got to do. They're going to eat those fees. It's not going to spur growth. It certainly isn't. But at the same time, with the ongoing infrastructure cost increases, basically inflation, most people who own property that want to develop it don't want to wait 5 years because the cost of concrete, lumber, all the other materials are going to go up. So it's one of those darned if you do and darned if you don't. The city needs money. The people need a place to live.
Ms. Jackson.
To be honest with you, I have no earthly idea. I want to honestly say that is something that I'm not that versed in. I don't have a whole lot of education behind it or understanding exactly how that will benefit those that are involved. But once elected, I can say that I will be asking those questions. I will be getting educated in those situations, getting a better understanding so that I could make sure that I inform the community correctly.
Ms. Lovato.
Thank you. And I just want to say most people are not aware of that. So it's one of those things. Anytime we are looking at increasing prices on anything, we should not take that decision lightly. But the unfortunate truth is prices of everything is going up, and that includes for the city of Clarksville. So those fees that he's referring to, those fees had not been adjusted since I think it was 2003. So we can't keep operating as a city on 2003 prices. And I also just want to say building and codes is part of our public safety department, and they need that funding. So if they can get that extra revenue through fees, I understand that it's going to have a tough impact on the builders, but I believe that it is not overstep. Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for a couple more questions. Let's go to Ms. Susan Zidek. Your question will go to Ms. Zoyie Jackson.
Ms. Jackson, if elected, you will be the voice of your ward in City Council. How do you propose to stay connected to the residents in your ward and involve them in planning for the future of Clarksville?
So to stay connected to those that are in my ward will be easy, but yet hard to the point of getting everyone out. So it would come through emails, it will come through town hall meetings, it will come through blogs, it will come through door knocking, it will come through events planning that includes the neighborhood and includes the different community members to come out and actually hear what it is that they're concerned about, but mostly making sure that I'm accessible to them in whatever way that is that fits the different demographics or the different needs, age limits, because majority of my area is older. We're older, seasoned, so we have to adjust as accordingly.
Ms. Lovato.
Thank you. So I keep talking about being highly accessible, and there are just so many different ways that we can do that. People have been very receptive to the newsletters I've been sending out. Community surveys have been a great tool. Like I said, phone, email, I am super text friendly. If people want to find me on social media, we've started doing something every Wednesday morning. We're meeting for coffee to meet me as your representative and express any concerns, and I just plan on continuing that and building that trust in those relationships with our constituents.
Mr. Bilan.
I would be using the internet extensively, Zoom meetings, electronic town halls, blogging. I've got email that is devoted to the ward. I've got basically whatever time is necessary to have live town calls. If somebody calls and says, hey, I'd like to meet you, I want to show you part of my property, I'm so flexible that I probably could meet them within 24 to 48 hours. And I want to be not only someone who listens, but to give answers. Whether or not I can provide them the answer they want is dependent on what they are looking for and what power the city has. But at the same time, if we are not, we're not just having people throw pennies in a well. You hear the splish and that's all you hear. I'm looking to try to get answers and to provide the best possible service to the city of Clarksville and make people aware that they can reach out to me at any time and any way that's possible.
Thank you. Mr. O'Neill Wiggins, you have the final question from our panelists, and it will go to Ms. Keri Lovato.
Ms. Lovato. So Clarksville was named the #1 place to live among many other accolades, as you know. What are your plans to continue to grow Clarksville and attract others?
That is a great question, and there are so many different things that. So one, we talked about the economic development, recruiting those jobs that people from out of town will want to seek. I think it would also be great for the city to have more of a conversation with organizations like Visit Clarksville to get more of those tourists, because if they come here, they'll fall in love with it and they'll stay here and spend their money here. With growth, again, we need to be proactive with our police department to make sure that we are creating a safe environment for people to come to. And then also the infrastructure, keeping on top of the street department, making sure they have their resources. So when people come here, again, it's an enjoyable place for their family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bilan.
Our city, to grow, needs to maintain its vitality. And we, for our ward, need to make it an enticing place, that we are not just putting up a bunch of concrete matchbox apartments. We want people that are willing to live in an area because they like the way it looks, that it is the home, because we want to make this the hometown for everybody that comes here and stays here. We are so close to all of the economic factories and technology, and it is what is going to propel our city in the future. If we work towards that, work towards creating more recreational areas, and bring back festivals. That's one of the things that we've lost. The Rivers and Spires and the Riverfest. I think that's one of the things that helps to build a community. So it's what makes a great city even better.
And Ms. Jackson.
I think the very first thing that I would do is highlight the diversity within our city. I think I would highlight and support all the amazing people and the amazing groups that we have already living here, that those that are on the outside can relate to and be able to connect with our community, the different communities that are already here, whether it's the military, whether it is the different culture and the food and the experiences that we have here in Clarksville. So to promote what we have so that people would want to come here and be a part of that, to be connected to that, and then also promote and have the different activities for our youth, because we have a lot of people that have children, such as myself. I have grandchildren, so promoting those things and buying into those things that will advertise those activities and different organizations that will buy into our children and our young adults and teens.
Thank you very much. That concludes our questions from our panelists. Let's now turn to closing comments from each of our candidates. They will be given in reverse order from our opening comments. We will hear first from Ms. Keri Lovato.
Thank you. And again, I just want to say how grateful I am for this opportunity to be here. I want to thank the Custom House Museum, Leadership Clarksville, the Chamber of Commerce for hosting us. And I also just want to say I am really grateful for the other candidates to be here. It has been great to hear their comments and their insight, and they did a great job. Clarksville is a wonderful community. We have really big goals, and we have a long path ahead. If I elected again, I just want to say I will continue that better as a team approach. I want to represent Ward 12, and I want to give them a representative that they can be proud of, someone who is willing to listen to them and help them find solutions and just committed to our shared future. So it's been an honor to serve Ward 12 for the last year or so, and I hope to continue that with your support. So on November 5th, please vote to keep Keri Lovato as your City Council representative for Ward 12. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have closing comments from Ms. Zoyie Jackson.
I just want to say first, thank you. Thank you for each one of my constituents sitting here. As a mother, a grandmother, and a retired combat veteran, a proud, active member of the community, I want to make sure that you understand that my whole purpose is to serve the community. I have a heart to serve. Our community deserves a government that is transparent, inclusive, and is focused on making real, meaningful changes that supports and represents everyone. I'm committed to addressing affordable housing, supporting small businesses, and creating an environment that supports our youth and teens. I believe in building a strong and a more united community for everyone. But I can't do this by myself. I need your vote. So on November 5th, please vote Zoyie Jackson, a voice of inclusion, as your next City Council person for Ward 12. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll hear closing comments from Mr. Dave Bilan.
I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce, the Economic Development Council, Custom House Museum, and everybody that helped to make this possible. Just a couple of things to keep in mind. We know that our city needs some work on infrastructure. We also need to look at our planning process. It seems backwards that we build, and then after the building goes up, we have to wait 5 years for the roads to be widened to accommodate the traffic that we know is coming. Again, I talk about a recreational facility. We have got more growth than any other place in the county, yet there is no plan to have any recreational facility, any walking path, any playground, any rec center, anything in Ward 12. And finally, we need to look at how we are talking about taxes. Go through any of the media and try to find out exactly what percentage your property tax went up in the city. It was 17.5%. What the city has done, or some of the other people have done, is here's a formula. If your house is this much, then use this formula to figure out how much you're going to be paying. But nobody says, well, it's gone up 17.5%. How many people have had their wages go up 17.5%? I've spent 36 and a half years either in the military or working for the military. I'm active in the community. I'm president of a therapy dog group. We visit the hospital. I volunteer at the hospital at the front desk. I'm part of the community. This is my hometown. And as good as we are, we can be better. I ask that you, on November 5th, when it comes time to vote for the Ward 12 City Council person, that you vote for Dave Bilan. Thank you very much. Be well.
And I want to say thank you to each of our candidates today. Mr. Dave Bilan, Ms. Zoyie Jackson, and Ms. Keri Lovato, thank you very much for sharing your time and your thoughts with us today. And more than that, for being willing to serve our community as an elected official representing Ward 12 on the Clarksville City Council. Thank you all very much. Remember, early voting for the federal, state, and city of Clarksville general election will take place October the 16th through October the 31st. The location will be at the Election Commission office. That's at 350 Pageant Lane. Once again, Election Day, the time to exercise our right and our responsibility, is Tuesday, November the 5th. Hopefully you'll be there and vote for the candidates of your choice. Thanks also to our panelists today, Mr. J. Albertia, Ms. Susan Zidek, and Mr. O'Neill Wiggins. Thank you for your insightful questions. And also thanks once again to Mr. Phil Harpel, our timekeeper for this session. Thanks to the staff here at the Customs House Museum and Cultural Center for hosting today's forum. And thanks also to Leadership Clarksville and your Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce, as well as Rick Goodwin Productions for making this forum possible. Until we meet again, I'm Van Stokes. Thank you for watching.
For current and exclusive content, subscribe to CDE Lightband, connecting you at the speed of light.